Hello, welcome to the Augmentation of Man with Kent and Renee Miller, where we are giving the
So
future.
are you Kent or are you Renee?
So today we have something interesting that we want to bring forth, a lesson that we were given years ago, but it can be applied to elections. And because we're here in the United States, a couple of days out from the official day for election,
Yeah.
we want to bring this lesson forward so that we can put the right perspective on
Well,
what it is we're trying to do
what
here.
kind of society in all general has something to learn.
Mhm.
And we're gonna try to bring in
The
the learn
spirituality
of the
of this,
learning
right?
process, yes.
So before we start, we want to make it clear to people who've never seen us that where are we getting this information from? Kent is a channeler. He's able to communicate with the spiritual world, with high spiritual beings who teach when he is in a trance or in deep meditation. And if you don't know about us, check out our last video where we talk about how our story began.
Yeah, so to
So now
continue with this
this is
lesson,
a lesson
yeah,
that Kent received probably 8-10 years ago.
yeah, so we'll begin this by saying, well, when society decides on a direction it wants to go, it's because they have something to learn.
Mhm. And in this case, when we're talking about an election, whatever comes out of that election is the direction that we will determine as a mass population. We determine what direction
Yeah.
that country is going to go and what lesson we're going to learn. And
And
it's a lesson that we have to
yeah,
learn.
it's not limited to any particular country like Russia or China, but all countries all around the world have something to learn, something to increase their ability to become more human-like.
Well, and wiser. So if we were always in a state of bliss,
Or
what would we be learning?
yeah,
So that's the whole purpose of polarities, is to push us through not only the side that we like, but the side we don't like.
Yeah,
And this
that's true.
gives us the balance and understanding. It gives us a more comprehensive perspective. And it's important in our spiritual growth.
Well, whether governments are controlling people or people controlling other people, all societies, all of the divisions of societies need to go through this learning process because it gives you both sides of a particular event, gives you both sides to learn. So you become a little smarter on your thinking, a little wiser.
Mhm. And so our American society has been in a state of having a lot of material wealth. And we haven't really, at least in recent years, had to go through much of the hard lessons that other countries have gone through already. And so we haven't really learned from those hard knocks, really. So it's like where the US is right now. We just sit and criticize things that we don't like. Perhaps we criticize whoever's in control, the president, or whoever
Or
is
people that are
manipulating, but it is not up to us to criticize because we're not learning when we do that.
Now,
We have to internalize the lesson.
yeah, now people from Europe that have gone through different events throughout history have a different perspective when they come here. And they say they don't want to be controlled like that again. They don't want to go under another person or another government's control because they have been that, and that's why they left that country.
Mhm.
So we have.
They can recognize
That's
it
right, they
because
can
they've
recognize it.
already been
So
through
we
it.
have a lot to learn here in the United States. We haven't really had the event process to really knock us down.
And it's in various things. So you may have a period of time where there's great wealth, and the opposite of that, or the polar opposite side of that, would be to experience poverty or a lack of wealth.
Are being totally controlled.
And freedom versus tyranny. Those are all things that we have to learn. The higher self has to learn that in order to become a wiser spiritual being.
So everyone across this line is in various learning stages. It's not just one stage. But how far are they willing to go to learn?
Are we stuck where we are and we won't be able to move along that line to learn? Are we just criticizing and we just freeze in our tracks rather than opening our eyes and saying, okay, if this is a lesson and this is what I see coming, what is it I need to learn from this?
Then they can begin to help their own humankind or those around them to learn this process and to learn what's coming and to learn how to cope with the things that is going to happen.
Mhm. So we can help each other move through that process by teaching, by shedding light on things, and to help people cope with
That's right.
what they see
It
coming.
creates less chaos
Mhm.
when you open your eyes and understand what the event is.
Yes, and when we're not in resistance mode either, because when we're in resistance mode, we are fighting each other, we're blaming each other, we're criticizing, it gets, into civil war sometimes. And that's really where we need to stay clear of. Instead, we need to say, okay, this may not be the person that I wish was in office, but evidently I need to learn something
Well,
from
it has to
this.
do with energy flow.
Yes, and so it's about not resisting that energy flow, but rather moving with it. And there's a reason for that.
Begin to understand this energy flow, why it's happening. And from the beginning of the decision until they get to the end of that energy flow, where another major decision has to be made or based on analysis of the event that just happened.
Mhm.
Once they learn how to do that,
Then
you understand the process, be able to move yourself out of that process.
well, once the lesson is learned, then it automatically presents you with new decisions to make
More quantum
and
paths.
and more quantum paths to take, and you actually just naturally migrate out of that lesson because the lesson has been learned.
Yeah.
No need to repeat it. However, on the flip side of that, excuse
People
me,
get frozen their ability due to their perception, their old perception.
mhm, looking at it from the old way of perception, where we're just criticizing and we hate where we're at. Once we internalize the lesson and we really learn from it as a society, then we move out of that lesson and we never have to return to it. But if the lesson wasn't learned, say we're just going to criticize whoever's in office, or we're going to criticize the situation we're in, then we're doomed to repeat it. And
Yeah.
it keeps repeating and keeps repeating until we finally succumb to the lesson and learn from it.
Other people, it can be. Other people can keep people from learning an ability. They can freeze them or they won't learn.
If we're listening to other people, and we tend to, as a human society, keep keep things stirred up, keep the anxiety stirred up,
Yeah.
especially
So-
the media.
You end up making the same decisions over and over
And
and
it-
over and
it's-
not learning.
It's like being on a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
You know, you just keep going around and around and around. Where if you want to get out of the situation you're in, internalize the lesson, really learn from it, and then you will shift out of that lesson and you can get out of the situation much quicker than if you're in resistance mode and you're just criticizing the situation you're in. It'll keep going
Yeah.
on indefinitely until you learn the lesson.
So a question that you need to contemplate. So with this election cycle that's coming up very, very, very soon, what is it that society needs to learn? And did we learn the lesson?
Mhm. Or are we going to continue with the lesson? Are we going to keep it going?
Well, this
And
is
I
something-
think that most people would rather move out of it and be able to move on in their lives.
Yeah,
and-
we still have a lot to learn, a lot. Remember, we're only in kindergarten.
And the United States is a very young country. We have quite a bit of catching up to do when it comes to the wisdom in comparison to like Europe and some of these older societies. They've been through a lot more in the past, and they've come to this sweet spot in their understanding where they have a much broader perspective and they have much more wisdom than most Americans
Some
have.
countries in Europe, not all of Europe, have come to the point of learning, but some countries have come to the point of learning, and they don't want to go through that again,
Mhm.
what they've gone through.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. And as always, peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon again.
If you'd like more of these lessons, check out the 2 books on Amazon that are shown at the end of this video. Take care and have a great week. And do get out there and vote, but vote smart. Do your homework because we have to know who we're voting for.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
that's
take care.
important. Don't vote for the pretty smile or the eloquent speaker.
Yeah, vote for it with your analysis.
Right.
Okay.